Golden State Warriors have evened the NBA Finals at 1 game apiece thanks to a comeback victory. The Warriors held on for a 109-104 win against the Toronto Raptors last night after trailing at halftime and erasing a double-digit deficit. Golden State sucked the energy out of Toronto with an 18-0 run to start the third quarter and did not look back. They were led by their all-star trio, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green combined for 65 points. The series now heads to the Warriors' home court in Oakland for games 3 and 4. Bill Reiter joins us now from Los Angeles. He is the host of Reiter's Block on CBS Sports HQ. Hi, Bill. So through the second quarter, the Raptors looked like they had a good chance to win this one. How did the Warriors take back control of the game?
Hi, Tanya. Yeah, you know what? The entire first half, they played with the kind of defensive excellence that they need to. We're more accustomed to seeing them perform, particularly in the postseason. They were bad defensively in game one. And the fact they kept it close, the fact that Steph Curry didn't play well in the first quarter, the fact that there were some role players who were about to step up meant we had the patented third quarter Warriors charge, that 18-0 run. They got help from a lot of unlikely places. And this is, Tanya, the Golden State Warriors that we've seen the last 4.5 years, a team that comes out even when they're down in a series and makes these runs to put games away, or at least get back into them.
Get back into them, indeed. Now, so in addition to the Warriors all-star trio, who else stepped up in game two?
I mean, there's a lot of guys that I could point to, but I got to go Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins. And we forget this in my world, in the media echo chamber. A lot of my colleagues have pretended that DeMarcus Cousins wasn't a good fit for this Warriors team. They pointed to some advanced metrics it suggested when he was on the floor this season. The numbers, the box minus plus minus, box score plus minus actually went down. It was all a bunch of hooey because DeMarcus Cousins, when he was healthy, when he was elsewhere, was anywhere from a top 12 to top 20 player in the NBA, capable of being the best player on the floor on any given night, and that's certainly what he was yesterday. He had an amazing game. He's playing through an injury. He hadn't played that many minutes in almost 2 months, but Boogie, offensively, defensively, some block shots, some steals, I mean, he was absolutely incredible. And just a reminder how unfairly deep this Warriors team really is when it comes to superstar level players.
They have an advantage there. All right, so for the Raptors, Bill, their star, Kawhi Leonard, did his part, leading all scorers with 34 points, but it just wasn't enough. What does Toronto need to do to take game 3 or 4 on the road?
Find a magic genie and wish that they had Boogie Cousins. I mean, look, I know the Raptors played a great first game, and a lot of people think they're still in this thing. To me, this is the Warriors series to lose. Vegas certainly agrees. The Warriors are huge favorites because Pascal Siakam's a great story and a really nice player, but you can't expect him to have a career game every single game in a 7-game series. Kyle Lowry has actually played well in this postseason for Lowry, but he's never been a big-time performer in the playoffs. And the reality is that we saw, if not nerves, at least the Raptors team outside of Kawhi reverting back to the mean in game 2. And that game was in Toronto, where the rims are going to be a little more friendly. You've got the home crowd advantage. The refs might be a little more inclined to give you some whistles you wouldn't otherwise get. It's going to be a different story the next 2 games at Oracle Arena, in the Bay Area, in Oakland, as they say goodbye to that longtime arena. I think the Raptors are going to have to hope for the unlikely reality, the unlikely situation, I should say, that they'll get guys like Siakam stepping up and being better players, really, than they are in the biggest of moments. That's easier said than done.
What about injuries, though? I mean, we know Golden State is dealing with a lot of them. We know Kevin Durant is still out. Thompson pulled his hamstring in game 2, and Andre Iguodala is also dealing with a leg injury. So how concerning is this for the Warriors?
Yeah, it's a great question. Last night was sort of a basketball paradox because it looked to me like the inevitability of the Warriors while seeing the one thing that can stop them, which is what you just cited, injury. We thought Stephen Curry was sick in the beginning part of that game, started the game 0 for 6, seemed to recover, but Steph's supposed sickness, Iguodala falling to the ground, it looked like he wasn't going to get back up, face planted for a while. Klay Thompson missing the majority of the fourth quarter. Kevin Durant already out. DeMarcus Cousins Cousins, who'd been injured, playing through an injury, was huffing and puffing like a guy who hasn't got into game shape. You're absolutely right. One of those things, two of those things could add up to a more challenging series. If several of those guys go down, if the MRI on Clay comes back and it's really problematic, if KD isn't able to play in Game 3, if Steph, God help us all, God help them, were to get hurt, you're absolutely right. I don't know if the Raptors can beat the Warriors, but bad luck and the wear and tear of having and trying to make an NBA Finals for 5 consecutive years. That's 2 more months of basketball each of those years, physically, mentally, emotionally. It certainly is something to keep an eye on.
And Bill, you know, President Obama was at the game last night sitting next to the commissioner of the NBA. The crowd chanted MVP. So did Drake finally get upstaged for once?
Yeah, thank goodness. I think whatever our politics, we can all agree on this. Thank goodness it was not Drake in the spotlight any longer. Yeah, and you know, President Obama, a little bit different approach and style to being an NBA fan than Drake. And President Obama, widely loved and beloved in the NBA, in NBA circles. And obviously he's a big fan of the sport. He played it casually. He elevated the game while he was in the White House, playing games a lot as president. So there was no doubt. In fact, I got a few text messages from folks who work in the NBA just randomly how cool it was to see President Obama flashing on the screen. So whatever folks' politics, we can all unite behind this. Less Drake is good, I think, for all of us.
A different kind of star power. All right, Bill Reiter, we thank you so much for that. And don't forget, you can watch Bill's show, Writer's Block, live from Los Angeles. It's on every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on CBS Sports HQ.